Okay, Brian, I have your wind gizmo all set up. However, you're going to have to do some assembly. Normally I'm using a two-bladed prop, and what I've done here for you, you afforded me the opportunity by giving me that carburetor. I wanted to do some experimenting, so I wanted to mate two-bladed props, or two single props, and see if I would be able to add to the smoothness and to the efficiency of the overall wind gizmo. I'm not sure I did that, but I certainly did have an opportunity to mate the two props, something that I thought was going to be very difficult. As it turns out, it was relatively straightforward after sleeping on the idea for a couple of nights. However, since this is the box that I've been using to ship the wind gizmos previously, you can see that shipping this as I normally would is not going to work because the prop is too high. Normally it's just a single prop and it just lays flat on the box along with the wind gizmo, and everything can be shipped assembled. This, however, cannot. So what I've done is I have made the bearing carrier as I normally do, and I've assembled it and press fitted it together. So what you're going to need to do is insert this into the tube, the copper tube, the body of the wind gizmo, and in doing so, I want you to apply a little bit of probably Loctite number 2 around this, so once it's pushed in, and it's a snug fit, but something you'll be able to do with your fingers, and you get it properly oriented, you should be fine. I want you to note, however, that there is a hole here on the bottom. That is going to be a moisture bleed hole, because if it's outside in a hard rain, there's a possibility that some moisture will get in between the prop shaft and the hood housing. So you want to be mindful of that. The hole goes towards the bottom housing, and there's another little notch, I don't know whether you can see that, that will help you orient it. So anyways, everything is set up. The bearings are pre-lubricated, so you should be okay. They're sealed bearings, but they're modestly price sealed bearings, so the seals aren't, interference fit, I guess. Okay. So here's your wind gizmo. I've signed it. It is number 20. And what I've done with this, normally I don't coat the copper because I think the coating is likely only to be a temporary thing. But a couple of people have made comments that they seem to develop a patina in rust for the counterweight here pretty quickly. So what I've done is I've coated that all. It'll be interesting to see how that coating stands up over time. But for me, this and this, should it rust, patina, or begin to show some corrosion or wear, I'm generally okay with that because I'm showing a lot of corrosion and wear at this point in my life. Also, on the weight, there is a little hook here, and this, if you happen to have a nice wind chime or something and you want to add this, what you can do is, generally wind chimes have some attachment hook or circle. You can place it in here, and then when the counterweight drops down, it kind of locks that in place. The counterweight is to keep this stable so it doesn't swing too much. The reason I went with this kind of a design is the advantage is it will always be plumb. When I was trying to do these and attaching them onto a stake in the ground, it was very hard to get them plumb, and so there was always some, I will say, preferential orientation for the fan or for the back. Okay, so here's another drain hole in the bottom for any moisture that collects in the back of the tube before it runs up into the bearings and floods the bearings. It'll drip out here. Here's a notch for the hole that I had showed you in the hood little cowling piece. And there is as well a very small orientation line. So all you're going to need to do is take the prop assembly, insert it in here, then take the hood and then push it in, line everything up. There we go. It's home. Twist it so it's oriented. I want you to put a little Loctite on the cowling as well, on the tube when you slip it over. And then there you get, and the nice thing about this now is it's free to pivot on its own, and we should expect it to start up at approximately 2.7 miles an hour. And I can move you down a little closer here. Okay. I'm going to send you some copper wire. I believe this is 14 gauge, but you can use 12 if you have to hang it from something that's higher. The little eye hook here. Okay, slips down. As you can see, there's a little pin down here that this pivot sets on. I put a little grease on there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is turn the fan on low. Let me take a look and see whether all this is showing up. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly run this. Okay, the fan on low. Okay, there it goes. I have a little aeronometer. Right now, the wind from the fan is not registering. Normally it'll start to go up to about, well, here it is, 1.5. And as you can see, the prop started turning right away. And once the wind got kind of oriented. Now, of course, this isn't necessarily representative of what you're going to find, say, in your backyard. Okay, we've got 2.2 miles an hour here now. I don't know whether you're a bicyclist, but I was really impressed with these folks' design. They're using a little cat eye speedometer from a bike. Okay, what I'm going to do as well, let's see if I still have it here. Well, I guess I left it in the house. I made a chain, a TW chain tensioner measurement device. I actually made it with Elim, Tony, or Slim in mind. So I'm going to send it down to you with the wind gizmo. And at your next wrench and ride, if you can just at least offer that to him. If he doesn't want it, he can give it to somebody else, or the group there can decide who would be able to utilize it. It's the first one I made. It was just an idea that came up a couple of nights ago. So I worked on it. It seems to work pretty nice. And my chain is properly tensioned. I'll have to make another one for myself. So anyways, here you go. Thanks a bunch. The carburetor, I'm sure, will come in handy. If nothing else, it had afforded me the opportunity to put in place this double prop assembly, which I've been thinking about for some time. So take care. I'll see you later. Ideally, we'll be able to do a ride this season.